Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Premier Edge podcast presented by PBP Web Design. I am your host, James Durkin, owner, operator of PBP Web Design. And today I want to introduce you to a very special guest to the show, Mr. Bryan Burford. Bryan, thank you for coming aboard.
My pleasure.
Please tell the world a little bit about you. Do a quick little intro. Let them know who you are, buddy.
My name is Bryan Burford. I have been a resident in Pasco County since 1974. I was a firefighter for Pasco County Fire Rescue for 28 and a half years. I have been active in the community. I was a volunteer with the Magnolia Valley Volunteer Fire Department prior to that. So I have a total of about 36 years in first responder service. Currently now I'm retired from the fire service, but retiring well before you get Social Security, you have to do something. So I started a business doing dryer vent cleanings and appliance repair.
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here today, folks. Bryan is the owner operator of Quality First Appliance Services. Bryan, first and foremost, I want to get the crowd to know a little bit more about you. You said a little bit of background about being a fireman, being in that industry. Give us a little bit of background of what made Bryan who he is and how you got into Quality First to begin with.
Well, my father, when we moved here from Indiana, was a volunteer firefighter in Indiana. And he moved to Florida, promised mom, I'm never going to do that again. And the very next thing I know, he's involved in the volunteer fire service. So in 1976, when I turned 14, I was able to join as a youth. Today they call it the cadet program for volunteer firefighting, but it was a junior program back in the mid 1970s. And so from there, I became the chief of the volunteer fire department, Magnolia Valley. I got a paid job with Pasco County. I did my career with Pasco County and saw a lot of bad things, tragedies, but always been active in community service. And when I retired from the fire service, one of the things I thought about was what were causes of fires. And one of the big causes of fires are appliances. And for laundry appliances, the main cause of fires in homes that damage or destroy homes has to do with dryer vents getting clogged with lint. That lint gets dry, brittle, and then becomes like kindling.
Okay. And that makes sense then why you would be so drawn to that particular line of work. Okay. So I guess what I want to ask next is how long have you been doing dryer vent cleaning and quality first appliance services in general?
So the dryer vent cleaning aspect we've been doing for about 12 years. I've been retired for roughly 13 years. Actually, when I started this whole thing, all I wanted to do was go to homeowner associations and community clubs and just tell people, because nobody's taught you need to clean your dryer vent. When we're growing up, yeah, change your oil in your car. These are things you have to do. But
Yes.
nobody's taught that they have to clean. So I wanted to do that. But I got to go to some homeowner associations, the people that show up, president, vice president, and maybe a couple of people who run around the neighborhood talking about how tall the grass is. So that really didn't work. So my son and I started the business doing dryer vent cleaning.
Okay. You said your son and you, so this is family owned operation, obviously.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So my youngest son is actually the one who started the actual, LLC business, and that I taught him how to do appliance repair. He found out there was more money in, and then everything's about money, I guess. There was more money in going and cleaning dryer vents than there was in doing repairs for him. So he got that started. We worked together. Unfortunately, about 6 years ago, he passed away. So I continued the business earnestly, just giving his wife money to help pay off their incurred debt. And so now my middle son, Andrew, and I work together, and he does the dryer vent cleaning. I help him to go on roofs of the second story if we have a two-story dryer vent cleaning to do. And then I mainly focus on doing the appliance repair.
I know I've known this guy for a long time, and I've already learned something new there. So, no, thank you for sharing that. Because I mean, and this is the whole point of this show, right? Get people to understand and know that someone like you does exist. And when I say local, I'm talking Newport Richey, Florida. Talk to us about your territory. How far can you go to help individuals that need help in that element?
So currently, we've gone up as far as, Highway 50 in Spring Hill, but we go up to roughly Mariner Boulevard-ish in Spring Hill. Now with the Ridge Road extension going out, we work some of the 41 area, north of Connerton. And if when that goes all the way through to 41, Ridge Road extension goes all the way through to 41, then Land O'Lakes, we'll start servicing Land O'Lakes area. We go down to Tampa Road in Pinellas County. So
Okay.
we service Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor, the north side of Safety Harbor, and that area. And then out to, let's see, the Suncoast Parkway and 54, those communities out there.
Okay. No, excellent. That's good to know. Now, getting back to dryer vent cleaning real quick, like you said a few minutes ago, it's almost like a necessity you need to learn, like changing the oil in your car, changing your car tire, whatnot. But so many people don't realize what that entails. If you don't mind taking just a moment to kind of go into detail what that looks like, let's pretend for a moment I know nothing about dryer vent cleaning. How would you explain to someone who's on the phone who may not know what you're talking about?
Well, a lot of times, when someone calls up, they'll actually call, "Hey, my dryer's not getting hot anymore." And I'll say, one of my questions will be, "When's the last time you had your dryer vent cleaned?" And they'll reply to me, "Oh, I clean my dryer vent every time I do a load." Well, they're talking about the little screen in there, they take that
Yep,
out.
I do that too.
Okay, right. So, and what I do is I explain to them that my $1,000,000 idea is to invent a dryer that no lint can get by that screen, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Almost 99% of all dryers, when you take that lint screen out, a little bit of lint falls off,
Mhm.
some lint gets through the screen that's smaller, and so what we explain to them is we need to pull your dryer away from the wall, we need to clean the ductwork. A lot of homes today, especially in the more modern building, they have laundry rooms. So the ductwork, the 4-inch ductwork goes inside the wall, through the attic, and exits on the roof. So that ductwork needs to be cleaned, according to NFPA, the National Fire Prevention Association. That ductwork needs to be cleaned annually. That's what they say.
Okay.
And so we explained to the people that not only do we need to clean that ductwork, but we need to get on the roof and make sure there are no, oh, I don't want to say it, dingleberries, hanging lint
Yeah,
on the exhaust on the roof.
right.
Um, and that's the most buildup that it starts to block up there at the exhaust. And some builders and some roofers, unfortunately, do not take out the wire mesh screen that's on that gooseneck louver on the roof. The building code, since as far back as I can find, has always been, "Thou shalt not put any obstruction on the dryer exhaust. No wire mesh screen, no bird cage preventing rats from going into your dryer." And I don't know any rats or any birds or anything that's gonna go in something that's putting out 190 degrees temperature.
Right, right.
But if they have the little damper flap, you don't have to worry about anything going in, but you need to be able to let the exhaust go out. So we clean that, we clean the ductwork. We also, I use the term slinky tube that goes between the dryer and the wall, right?
Right.
The accordion.
I know what you're
Oh,
talking about.
so that needs to be either cleaned every year,
Mhm.
and it needs to every 3 to 5 years, it needs to be replaced because it may look like it's aluminum, but it's actually plastic with an aluminum coating and is very flammable. You can actually go on YouTube and type in, uh, exhaust hose or it's called a, dryer vent transition hose,
Okay.
and then fire, and people will show you. You light that thing on fire, and it burns like who knows what.
I might be guilty of not knowing that. So this is why this is why I love what we're doing here because there is so much that people need to know. And that, like, I didn't know that. And I use a dryer just as much as anybody else, right? So let's talk more about what happens if proper maintenance isn't kept up with this? What can a homeowner expect to see happen?
Every year in the United States, approximately 5,000 times or more per year, homes are either damaged or destroyed because of just dryer lint fires. Now, the possibility of a fire far outweighs everything else. However, the possibility of your dryer breaking down,
Mhm.
burning out a thermostat, burning out the heating element, extended time drying your clothes. So most of the dryers that we service, or we're not certified in propane or gas,
Right.
so we service only electric dryers. However, if it takes you 2, maybe 3 times cycles to dry your clothes, how much electric are you burning? So cost for
Right.
excessive drying time, the possibility of a costly breakdown, Samsung dryer, heating element, between parts and labor, you're looking at $150, $160. Just because I do Samsungs all the time, and that's just I want off the top of my head. So, and then the possibility of burning your house down, security for your family, yeah, it's kind of important.
Sounds pretty critical to me. All right. So you just touched based on electric. And for those of you looking to save money on electric bill, this could be one of those proactive things someone could be
Absolutely.
head of the curb on.
Absolutely.
Why aren't we doing this? Why am I not doing this? I know this guy. I don't even know this. I feel like I have not taken advantage of this relationship like I should. Um, no, but ultimately, uh, knowledge is power when applied, right? So, that's half the battle. You don't know what you don't know. So, this is all good information. So, in short, we have obviously the guru himself talking to us about not just maintenance, but how to save money, which is what I was not expecting to hear anything about that today. But now, when it comes to your service calls, walk us through like how long, if I call you out to my home tomorrow and to say, hey, I need to have my dryer looked at, I need to have my vents looked at, and you have to go do a cleanup. Maybe it's been 2, 3, or 5 years since I've done something like that. What can we expect as far as how soon you could be out? How long would that job take? Because these are all questions that as a homeowner you'd want to have it in the back of your
Right.
mind. Because we all work, we got jobs and responsibilities. Walk us through that.
Okay, so, for just the dryer vent cleaning aspect of it,
Mhm.
we charge for a one-story home, dryer vent through the roof
Yeah.
is $99. We don't have any upcharges if your dryer vent is longer than 12 feet. Um, and there are no hidden costs. We clean or replace the slinky tube, the transition hose between the dryer and the wall, and, we make sure that not only that, but the inside of the dryer, up the rear hole inside the back and underneath the lint screen before and after the fan, that is cleaned out as well. And so we don't have a service call for that. It's just a flat rate $99 out the door. And then we will recommend either you have it done either every year, a family of 4, we recommend, or a family of 2 or 3, and they have a lot of pets, every year. uh, Grandma and grandpa, she wears her sundress, he wears his Bermuda shorts. They do laundry once a week, every 2 years, but never go longer than 2 years. A two-story home, our charge is $150. It's a flat rate. No hidden fees for excessive length on, that. Now, I will say this, I will kind of refuse to clean somebody's dryer vent if it exceeds 35 feet in length, because that is outside of building code,
Mhm.
and that's unsafe unless they have a vent booster.
The more you know. The more you know. Um, Now we've talked an awful lot about that. I want to kind of I heard something before we hit that special record button. A historian buff. I want to kind of change pace a little bit and
Alright.
kind of get to know what's behind the man that runs Quality First. I know a little bit about the background being a fireman, but I heard about this historian thing, and Newport Richey has a museum. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, like I said, I've been in, Newport Richey since 1974, and working with the fire department as a first responder in the area, I got to know the area very, very well.
Mm.
Um, and so I love history, especially Newport Richey's history, and the more I find out about it,
Yeah.
the more excited I get. So, several years ago, my business became a member of the West Pasco Historic Society. In other words, you pay an annual fee to be a member to support the Historic Society and the museum, the Dr. Raul Musunuru Museum and Library that's in Sims Park.
Okay.
And it's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Um, After my wife passed away and I had more time on my hands, I then became a member, full member, and they voted me on as a part of the board of directors. So I'm currently involved in I've already given 2 presentations at Peace Hall. We were talking about, which is right behind, it's a church building right behind the museum. We do every month, we do a presentation on the history of West Pasco. And so I did the history of Pasco County Fire Department about 4 years ago. 3 years ago, the 100-year anniversary of Newport Richey Fire Department, I did the history of Newport Richey Fire Department, gave a 1-hour presentation, which are available on West Pasco Historic Society's Facebook and YouTube channel for viewing. And so then I got hoodwinked. Well, it's not hoodwinked, but they voted me, or they gave me the privilege of becoming the volunteer committee chairman, the membership committee chairman, and also, and I talked about you last night at our board meeting, I'm the social promotions chairman.
Okay.
Yeah, so last night I brought up the point that you talked about to me. You told me that, if I could get everybody on the board to share a Facebook post when we're promoting an event,
Yes.
to if they would share it and like it, because you said every time it crosses the algorithm you talk about, I love all these words you use, but that will
Or like,
put you higher as being able for people to see it.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's, yeah, so, yeah, and I'm currently now researching the history of Old Dixie Highway through Pasco County from 1912.
Okay. That's fantastic. And for those of you who are history buffs who may not have been aware, such as myself, there being a museum right there in Sims Park. I mean, how many times are we in downtown Newport Richey? I had no idea it existed, and I am terrible with that. So, and I feel horrible about that. So, definitely need to learn more about that. Um, Brian, you've shared a lot in a very short period of time, from fireman to entrepreneur, obviously family man. Condolences with your wife, by the way, and historian buff. A little bit of a renaissance man right here, I must say. So I want to say thank you. But before we move forward and move on from this particular episode, if someone that's watching wants to learn more about Brian, the man, the myth, the legend himself, or just more about what you do from an appliance standpoint. Dryer vent cleaning is just one of many services you provide. Before I let you talk about a little bit how people can contact you and where to find you, what other services within that realm that we have not touched upon, just real quick, just off the top tip of the tongue, that you provide in regards to other appliances that you may offer repair services for, such as fridges, microwaves, dishwashers. Talk to us a little bit about that real quick before we wrap up.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, on the repair side, the part that I do, we do laundry appliance repair, kitchen appliance repair, major appliance. I am not certified in refrigeration, nor am I certified in gas or Freon. So, for refrigeration, I have 2 people that are associates of mine that take care of repairing refrigeration, and then one person I know who's an associate who does work on gas appliances. So a repair of any appliance, not microwaves, it's cheaper just to replace them, but it goes dishwasher, stove, washer, dryer, and that type of thing.
Okay. So I'll keep that in mind as well, because I know if you're renting, you may have a property manager you have to deal with, and you may be kind of forced to use certain vendors, if you will. So that would be something that maybe we can get you in touch with down the line as well. I'm like human Google. I like to connect people with people. So, um, Brian, how can people that are watching around the world get in touch with you, specifically here in Newport Richey, Trinity, Hudson, Port Richey area? If they have a need and they need to reach out to the man himself, how can people get in touch with you?
So, we have 2 Facebook pages, sites, I'm not sure what you call them. Anyway, we have one for, Quality First Appliance Repair and Sales. And then we also have a Facebook page for Quality First Dryer Vent Cleaning LLC. So they can if they specifically type in quality first,
Mhm.
spell the word, not one with an ST, then they'll be able to find us. And you can look in the phone book. Oh, no, there's no such thing as a phone book anymore. What? No phone book? Yeah. Yeah. And also Google. You can find us on Google. If you do a Google search for dryer vent cleaning or appliance repair, washer repair near me, the first few selections you're going to see are people who are paying money and charge a lot more for their service. But if you scroll down to where the map is and you look at the map and you find Quality First Appliance Services in that map, you can click on that and you can see we have well over 100 five-star reviews on Google.
He's worked long and hard for those reviews as well, and I can attest this man is a guru at what he does. You've helped me plenty of times in the past, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be helping me in the future. I've moved since I've last used your services, so we need to talk a little bit about that. All right. Also, in the description below, there'll be links to the Brian's website as well as other contact information to get a hold of you. Brian, unless there's anything else, I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, your busy schedule to be a guest on this show. This is a relatively new podcast. I want to make sure that I'm giving a platform to local businesses, and you, my man, are right up there with the best of them. So thank you for taking the time to be on.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Can't say enough kind things about this man right here. If you have an issue with your appliances, reach out to the guru himself. Brian is here to help. He is he's here to help. So very humble man indeed. But again, thank you so much for being here. For those of you watching, tune in next time. Our guests are going to keep on rolling here in a good old Newport Richey, Pasco County, Florida area. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.